it's hard to say. Roger Federer is the best tennis player ever. I mean, I probably could say that for sure. Well, then you could say, well, what about Bjorn Borg? He was the best player ever. Well, they didn't play against each other. It's kind of hard to say. But regardless, they're both great. They're both
very over.
Yeah, I'd say so. But as far as whether Charlotte will overtake her dad, gosh, that's hard to answer that kind of stuff. I think that I will say this. I think that she will go down as, at least probably in our lifetime, if she continues on where she's. I mean, she'll clearly go down the best, if not the best, one of the best, or the whatever you want to call them. I mean, of all time, for sure. Now, you say that she, for women or men for that matter. I mean, Charlotte Flair is legit. That girl is amazing.
Absolutely.
If you watch the stuff she does, it's like, God, that girl's incredible. I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's one of the few that I wouldn't mind see her facing off against, like Cody or something like that. I'm not much for the mixed matches, but I think she would be able to pull it off.
Oh, totally. I mean, like I said, men or women wrestlers. Like I said, Charlotte she's incredible. And Cody's incredible too. I think, like I said, they will be, whether they will ever take over what their parents did, it's just different. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, Dusty Rhodes, who is definitely one of my heroes, man, he was, God, probably I'd say the greatest talker of all time. Man, he and Flair, I mean, both of them were just insanely good on the microphone.
I think Dusty's definitely probably up there, if not the best talker of all time. But he
was just so damn believable, man. The guy was just incredible. I'll still do the hard time speech every now and then to be fun. I love the hard time speech, man. He did it on a whim.
That hard times wasn't good.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I seen that one. I'm like, damn.
I mean, it's insane. But I think that, when you look at what Dusty did for the business, what Rick did for the business, I mean, Dusty Rhodes for that matter, I mean, gosh. I mean, look at all the things today you see. That's Dusty Rhodes. I mean, his name's on everything. I mean, just the different ideas, different gimmicks, the events, all kinds of stuff, just the way the business worked. I mean, the guy, he did everything.
Right.
Dusty Rhodes was a brilliant, brilliant man. And Ric Flair, while he wasn't on the booking side like Dusty was, and he wasn't doing like the probably the creative type stuff that Dusty was doing. Dusty was kind of behind the scenes a lot doing stuff. Not that Rick wasn't doing things behind the scenes, but I think that what I'm saying is that Dusty was the guy who was, putting those events together and things like that. I'm not sure how often Flair had the book, but I think that when you look at what Rick did, I mean, like, he grew the brand of wrestling, right? I mean, like, he was the ambassador for wrestling. Hell, he still is. But, like, when you look at what Ric Flair did and what Dusty Rhodes did, I mean, that's kind of like, that's the Michael Jordan, Mickey Mantle, just and going forever. I mean, Louis Armstrong of music. I mean, like, everything. You just kind of put them all together. I mean, like, they did everything, man. I mean, like, and so all the stuff we see today is really because of those guys. And so, it's hard to say, like, will they ever overtake their parents? I mean, they certainly, I think Cody and Charlotte will do, and already have done, but I think they will leave their mark here. No doubt. I think Cody's on something huge with what he's doing now. He's obviously got a great business mind, like his dad did. And I think Charlotte. Gosh, I mean, I like I said, I don't know how long. I don't know. Will she do it as long as her dad? And Ric Flair's been doing this now. I mean, he's not wrestling anymore, but he's still involved. He's still in the game, right? I don't know. I don't know if they will do it as long. Do I see Cody Rhodes being in the business when he's 70 years old? I don't know. I mean, hey, I hope he is, but what I'm saying is it's hard to say until you see, because I forget how old Cody is. I think he's younger than I am.
Yeah, I think he's only a few years older than me.
Right, so he's in his 30s. Yeah. So if you look at that, was just getting started then. What I'm saying is like, I mean, Ric Flair wrestled that match against Shawn Michaels when he was how old was he then? 60? I mean,
he was in his 60s, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the dude was WrestleMania in the 60s. Sting is 61 now?
Yeah. 61. That match with Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24. Actually, that one I actually was at, and that was a hell of a match. I was there, and to me it's like, okay, no matter what happens, at least I could say I saw Flair's last match. Well, technically it didn't turn out to be that way because he wrestled in TNA for a little while, but that was an emotional moment, man. That ending, the whole match was just, man, that was the match of the night right there. That was
incredible.
Oh my gosh, it was just like, figured that Flair's gonna lose anyway because of stipulation, of course, but that match was hands down just something else that it's hard to describe. It just for me to say I saw his last match in WWE was like, hey, this is, I mean, it was just something to say that you can always, just something that you always can say, hey, I saw his last match in WWE at least. So that was an incredible match every time.
Yeah, no, you should be happy you got to go to that. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
That was great and very emotional and stuff like that. But like I said, that's a perfect example. Do I see Cody at that same age doing that? I don't know. Like I
don't know either. Yeah.
Because here's the guy thing. Today, like, God, these guys and gals are making so much money. At the end of the day, they don't have to work as long. If they don't want to, if they save their money and they do the things the right way, gosh, I mean, if you're making some of the money that some of the top people are making today, you wouldn't have to worry about taking bumps in the ring when you're 60 years old, unless you really, 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 really want to. Like I said, I know Sting has done extremely well. I think Sting is just fine. I mean, I think that guy's, he's made a great living, and the guy was an incredible entertainer. So I don't think he has to necessarily work. If he's doing it, probably because he loves it. So it just depends how much they love it. I mean, Flair, I think that guy, if he could right now, he'd go wrestle today. He loves it that much. It just really comes down how much they love it. But I think it will be neat to see what both Cody and Charlotte do because they're both very talented in many different ways, and it is really neat to see a son and a daughter from both Dusty and Rick that will leave such a mark on wrestling after their parents did the same thing. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
That's extremely impressive for them to be making a mark that big after what their parents did. So they've got some pretty big shoes to fill, right? But yeah, I mean, gosh, I hope they stay in the business forever, and I hope they break every record there is. But man, I tell you what, Dusty and Rick did stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, you actually mentioned Steamboat a few times earlier. I was a big fan of Steamboat. Basically, pretty much saw a lot of his old tapes and stuff, and saw a match or two early '90s live. But I about 4 years ago actually met him at the St. Pete Clearwater Airport. I was flying in to see my family for a few days, and I come from Knoxville area where I was living at, and I get to baggage claim. I see this guy look familiar. I'm like, no way. And kept on looking at him, I'm like, that is Ricky Steamboat. It's got to be Ricky Steamboat. So I get closer and closer. I said, yep, that's him. So what should I do to go meet him? So eventually I walked up. Hey, are you? I guess you're Ricky Steamboat, right? It's like, yeah. So I'm a big fan and everything. So he's like, right off the bat, he says, you want to take a picture? Like, yeah. So he had his girlfriend or wife, I think his girlfriend, with him, and he's very nice, classy. He introduced me to her. He was very he wasn't about himself. He was wanted to make sure that hey, she's here too, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I said it, and I just asked how old I was and everything. He says, does she watch back in the Attitude Era? And it's like, yes, but I also saw your match against Savage at WrestleMania. It's like, it's kind of interesting. You watch one area, but you also know about the other areas too. It's like, yeah, I love all those, the old days and stuff that I was just young and too. And so real nice, real classic guy. We shook hands and went our own ways. But real nice, classic guy, man. I just respected how he was. And also as a kid, mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and I expected him to be. This is actually right after Owen Hart's death, and it was my dad brought up. And I was expecting him to be the mouth of the South, but he was very laid back and quiet, as you can imagine. Very just to himself, just talking just like me and you, man. It was just interesting. Here with me as a kid, I thought I was still real at the time, and these guys are like, their characters, what I knew them by. But this guy was totally out of character, just being himself and just laid back and quiet, really respectful. So it was interesting to see that being the case. So it was really neat and interesting, especially at that age frame too. When I was a kid meeting Jimmy Hart, but yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, those guys, Ricky Steamboat. I'm not sure where Ricky lives now, but he was in Charlotte, a lot of years. He used to be married to a lady that was I think it was Bonnie. I think was his wife back then, or I think that's right. When he had little Ricky, or I think it was his son was little Ricky. I can't remember. It's been so long ago now, but I think he used to bring him to the ring sometimes, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I think actually at that WrestleMania match, I think his wife was at that one. I think. Mm-hmm. But he's always been known as an extremely nice person. I've never met Jimmy Hart, but I've heard he's a really neat guy. I think he's the one. I think he's the one who came up with he might have come up with the Rock and Roll Express's name. I think that's who came up with that. I think so. Once again, like I say, if the fact check me on that one, but I think he's the one that came up with their name.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I think because he would have been around then. I can't remember, but I think that might be true.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I can believe that.
Well, a lot of guys, that's another part about territory wrestling that was so cool, is that when you had like the NWA, the WWF, you had the UWF, you had the FCW, all these different things. And so watching as a kid, you think, when let's say you see, I don't know, some guy who's been wrestling, for instance, okay, let's say that Ric Flair, when he went to the WWF back in what was that? 89? 90?
92.
He went.
Ric Flair, that would have been about 92. It's when Bill Watts was in charge.
So was it 92?
I think it was.
Yeah,
For some reason, I thought he went up there earlier than that. But
no, I think it was during Bill. I'm pretty sure this is Bill Watts who wanted him to cut his hair. Jim Herd.
Jim Herd. Yeah, not Bill. Yeah.
So Jim Herd.
Yeah. So when he went up there, now he went up there earlier than that, guys. He went up there
1991.
twice.
1991 is when he went because of Jim Herd.
91. Okay, yep. So 91 when he went up there. Well, my whole point I was trying to make was this, which is funny, is that you would think, okay, oh my gosh, he's going to go up there and he's not going to know any of these people. Well, the reality of it is, all those guys have all wrestled together their whole lives.
Right.
So I mean, like, you'll hear Rick like, oh my God, I wrestled Andre the Giant 500 times. I used to have to drive them all over the place. Well, by watching TV as a kid, you would think they would never know who each other were.
Right.
Because that was up north, right?
Yeah.
So it was so weird. But like Dusty Rhodes used to wrestle in the WWF.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and that late 70s range, all that kind of stuff. So these guys you'll hear these interviews with them now, which I think is so neat, is they'll be like talking about, oh yeah, I was in the car with so-and-so and so-and-so. We were driving somewhere. I'm like, well, what were y'all doing together? Well, it's because, but the thing is that, that they wrestled in other areas together.
Yeah.
And so it's just so crazy how that works, you know. It's just you didn't think about it. You know, I didn't think when I was little. I was like, well, how do they know each other? You know, like, but then you figure it out. But because they moved around so much,